Hey everybody, it's Andrew and Katie here. Welcome to Living the Northern Life. Today we're back out at the property and we're going to try to start moving some of this pile back here. I'll give you guys a little bit of a close-up here. There's some stumps and branches back here that need to be moved, so I'm going to try to use the quad to pull them out. We knocked as much of the dirt off as we can. I think that the quad can move it, and if not, we'll go get Big Blue. My stepfather might need it today. We're having a couple issues with the other Kubota. Seems like there might be a wire broken or something like that. Anyway, let's see what we can get done. So we got to make a trail through here, which I think I can probably just drive the quad over top of. And we're going to hook on to this stump, kind of drag it down through here and just back over there. So I don't think we'll have too difficult a time, but we should probably bring the weed eater over here to clean this up. But I'm just going to try to drag it. There's no big logs. I've moved them already, so we can't move any of these stumps. We need Big Blue for this, and the quad can move the small stuff, but not this. Like there's 15-20 stumps in here. You can see this one here has a pile of dirt in it, and really what we want to do is we want to be able to build this up with topsoil from right over here. You can see all the topsoil that we've got, and we want to build this up so that we can put about 8 more inches of 6-inch minus in this hole, and then have a retaining wall so that you know, we're not using too much 6-inch minus or A-gravel when it comes to it. We're just taking a few minutes to try to straighten the driveway up here. We got a lot of 6-inch minus off to the side over there. We're just pulling it in by hand. Big Blue's in use right now, so we can't use them. Just ran a little string line. You can see how much 6-inch minus is on the wrong side. So guess we'll pull those over by hand. Just wanted to share some things that I've learned over the past couple weeks. We've got an engineer, because our slab is a certain size. It's over, I don't know, 400 square feet or whatever it is. 24 by 24 I think is the size. You need to get an engineered drawing. So we've been looking at the samples that you know, that were provided by the municipality here, and and they were saying between 18 and 24 inches of either modular A or modular B, which is A gravel or B gravel, or B modified. I'm not sure exactly what B modified is. B gravel and pit run are exactly the same thing. Anyway, when I got the engineered drawings, he said in it that my concrete floating slab was going to be put on 6 inches of compressed A gravel at 98%. I think it was like SPDD or something like that. I'll put the correct acronym down here now. But really what should have happened, I guess, was that with 6 inches of A gravel and 18 inches of the floating slab is what, 24 inches. Well, technically, I guess you have to have 6 inches of the slab out of the ground, and so basically, you have to build an 18-inch hole to put 6 inches of A gravel. Now, what we could have done here is we could have had the excavator kind of make it level in here as opposed to digging down to the clay, which I thought was going to be good. But now what the engineer has said, I've got the 6-inch minus on here, and now I've got to make sure, I need to get a geotech in here to make sure that it's compressed at 98% as well. But we're not building yet this year, so this is going to be sitting. He had mentioned if it had been sitting for a year, then probably I wouldn't have to have the geotech to come in here and do that. But really, I've spent $3,000 on material that I probably didn't need. Down the driveway here as well, we didn't need to really dig. We could have just put material on top. But now we've got topsoil that we need to put around the perimeter here, because this still needs to come up 8 inches for 6" minus yet before we put the 6 inches of A gravel on here, and then 18 inches for the concrete. So I need to set up a berm, and I'm going to use the topsoil over here, which is why we're trying to push these stumps back. I would have liked to have gotten the 6" minus to the right grade, and I thought that I did. And from the samples that I was looking at from the municipality, like I said, I needed 18 inches of A gravel, or 20, like between 18 and 24 inches, which isn't right, according to the engineer anyway. It needs to be 6 inches of A gravel. So I really dug down way too deep here. I have a really solid base. It's not going to go anywhere when it's all done. But it's cost me a few $1,000s more than what I really actually needed. So that's a big learning experience. I brought in a load of A gravel here as well, thinking that, okay, like I'm close to where I need to be. I'm going to start in with my 16 inches of A gravel, and now I've got a load of A gravel in here that doesn't need to be in here. So I'm probably going to dig that out when we get Big Blue up and running again, and replace that all with 6" minus, which that's a whole load of A gravel. So you can see that one load of 6" minus here is, you know, it's going to do really well. But we're going to need probably 3 more loads or so up here. And then we've got to level the driveway. So right in about here, where I'm drawing the line with my finger, that needs to be up about 4 feet. So where Katie's sitting on the quad to over here, that's about 50 feet. And so we need to raise that up 4 feet over the 50 feet, which doesn't seem very steep, but it's a lot of material again, right? Probably 3 loads of 6" minus. And then what I'll do is I'll take that topsoil and kind of bank it up. And this is all topsoil here. That's all topsoil back over here. And just past Katie on the quad, on the left-hand side, right there, that's all topsoil too. So we have lots of topsoil to be able to do stuff with, but really we need to get rid of the stumps or try to push them back. I might have to rent the local excavator. I think it's a 2-ton, 3-ton maybe. It does have a thumb on it, so I can, you know, at least move that stuff around. And but like I say, we're kind of tapped out, and the government's just raised interest rates again, 0.75%, and we didn't want to use any loans or credit cards or anything like that for this. So everything that we've done so far has been cash. So we either put that material on credit cards and pay an astronomical amount of interest on it, or we just wait and kind of work on it some more next year. My hope was that this was going to be at the right level. From the sample, I thought it was at the right level, but now we need to come up 8 inches more with 6" minus, and then, you know, 4 or 5 loads of A gravel that we can only put in 3-inch lifts for the small compactor. If we had a much bigger compactor, we could put in 6-inch lifts, which is 6 inches of A gravel, and then you run the compactor over the ground compactor and you pack it. But this is kind of where we're at today, you know. So I guess, you know, I was always a little concerned about talking to the engineers too early. I thought that the base was going to be, you know, just for the drawings for the base, I thought that was going to be, you know, $1,000, $1,500, maybe more, I'm not sure. But the guys that we're dealing with, Waddell Engineering, I think it's $350 plus tax. You can get that within 24 hours after submission, as long as it's during business hours that you submitted it online. They ask you some questions about it. Put a link down here in the description to get to them as well. They're in Waterloo, Ontario, so for anybody in the States, it might not work for you, but we're choosing to work with them. I've had some questions about, you know, putting in the slab. Chris was really good at answering the questions, but that's where we are at today. So thank you so much for joining along here, but this is probably the last video for the garage this year, I think. Unless something happens where we can get we find some cash to throw in a few more loads of 6-inch minus, I think that's going to be it for this one. It sure help us out if you subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't watched any of our previous episodes, just go back in and hit some of our playlists. You know, for every commercial that you watch, we make, I think it's a half a cent. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say that, but that's what we make, is about half a cent a commercial. You know, most of them are 15 seconds or whatever, 6 seconds long. Some of them are longer, and I don't even watch those. So, but thank you so much for joining along. This has been our journey so far to our setting up our shop so that we can cut our timber frame house in here. Like I say, we're trying to do this and without getting into any debt. So I've been, you know, buying tools for 20 years now. You know, table saw and scale saws and everything, right? Cordless drills for, you know, putting in on tin and all that good stuff. But anyway, guys, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button or follow along. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it sure means the world to us. And until the next one, keep living the Northern Life. Thanks for watching Living the Northern Life. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and our website. Remember to click subscribe, click that bell notification, and give us a thumbs up for the videos you like.